Well, g'day guys. So today we're going to be breaking down Daisies by Justin Bieber. This is going to be really cool. I got a bunch of little keys and a bunch of little takeaways, a bunch of little things that I learnt on this song, and I can't wait to share them with you. So let's go ahead and dive in. So the first thing, I'm going to read my notes down here, but the first thing out of the gate is obviously a fresh electric guitar sound. It's like a riff. It's actually played on baritone guitar, so there's actually not any bass in this song. It's really not that many instruments. Really, it's bass. It starts with the electric guitar, so it has a lot of those bass kind of notes in the baritone electric guitar. If you're not quite sure what that is, look up what a baritone electric guitar does. It's got different tuning, and it's a very different kind of instrument, so you don't really need much bass in, or any bass in. Sometimes the bass can really get in the way. So it's got that. It's got this really cool drum, a very lo-fi kind of drum groove that plays. And it's a very busy guitar riff. The riff is very busy. There's a lot of stuff moving, and it's quite for you guitarists out there. It'd be a good one to learn. Quite intricate. So give you a bit of a workout on your fingers and getting it going. So it's quite a good song to kind of learn on the guitar. Then later on in the choruses, there's an organ that kind of comes in. It's like it just holds a couple of notes. It's not very busy. It's just kind of holding that out. And if you watched any of my videos or heard much of me talk, mixing and songs and writing these kind of songs, it's all about the arrangement. And so, you've got this busy kind of electric guitar. You've got the drums has a kind of solid groove. It's not a simple groove. It's edging on a little bit more on that busy side. So the organ does something very simple. So it's all about that contrast. It's all about complementing with the different parts. And that's the producer that here talking now. But so let's and keep going down. More on my list here is it actually has, like, talking about the instruments. It actually has an organ that goes in the chorus, but then there's also a pad thing. And if it's in the chorus, it must be buried down really low. But you can hear it a little bit more. It's like a pad string thing in the second half of the bridge. And so it kind of builds, and then I wouldn't be surprised if it kind of goes out towards the end of the song. But the arrangement of the song, talking about the arrangement now, is we got a verse, and then a pre-chorus, a very one-line kind of pre-chorus. Then it goes back to a verse again, then pre-chorus, chorus. Then it goes to a bridge, and the bridge kind of doubles with a little bit more of a busier section on the second half of the bridge, and then it goes back into a chorus and ends the song. So it's very simple, and it's quite interesting. A lot of the times you'll hear like it just goes verse, pre-chorus, chorus, like straight into it. But in this song, it feels really good to do a verse, pre-chorus, almost fake to a chorus, and then the drums, as everything's building up, but then it goes back to another verse. So it's quite interesting, and in the verses, the melody of the verses are really cool. It's kind of like does two lines. It actually does three lines, and then the fourth line of each verse is the pre-chorus. It kind of has a little build there. So he kind of does. He repeats the first line. He repeats that twice. And then he goes into maybe a different third line, which is very, very typical. A lot of songs do this. And then he does the pre-chorus kind of thing. And then talking about the harmonies in this song, he doesn't have that many. It's a very kind of overall, it's a very kind of lo-fi kind of type song. It's very kind of mono. It's not in mono, but it's very small sounding. It's very even on my meters when I was listening to the mastered version, it's not right in your face. It's got a little bit of breathing room. It's got a little bit softer. It's a little bit more, which gives it more of a feel of more of a real, or more organic, or more stripped back, or more artist friendly, or more real. And I think that's such a cool thing in today's day and age. Because you got AI coming in, and everything's just so sleek, so full, so polished, so full, and just so professional. And it's so nice to have kind of something that's just like, hey, it just sounds like someone super talented sitting in the room writing a song, playing a song, and it's just like, that's the real essence of songwriting and of songs. Sitting around in a small group, and someone's playing stripped back song or stripped back version of this song, and it's that's the actual core of the song. This is the no flashy stuff. This is the song. Does it have a cool melody? Does it have cool lyrics? What are you saying? What does it sound like? And it's, but anyway, I digress there. But getting back on track here, looking at more of the notes and the takeaways that I got for you guys. So one of the things that he does in the bridge that I noticed with the vocal melody is there's a lot of words, there's a lot of stuff happening, but then in the bridge he elongates his words, he stretches them out a little bit, and that's the first half of the bridge, which we're all about that contrast. It's always got to have that contrast. So that's such a cool thing. But then he kind of doubles it and he adds another little part that adds to it, another vocal part that's kind of like a counter melody that's kind of a bit more, it's a little bit more busy, and it's really kind of cool that they build that out. I encourage you to check that out and kind of get inspired by some of those ideas, because those are really cool for bridges. I know I am. I want to write some of those kind of ideas. That'd be really cool. And so that's one of the things he does. And then the drums comes in for the second half of the bridge and then goes out throughout. One of the things I noticed on the drums, for all you drummers out there, you might have noticed this already, but anyone who's programming drums or learning to mix and produce their drums, it's very simple in the when it comes into that groove. It's very simple, and then he opens up with these hats. I believe it's the hats. It's kind of it's almost like a cymbal, but he's like got them open, or it might even be a smaller cymbal where he's just kind of hitting it. It's a cymbal, but he's hitting one of those, and it's really kind of cool for that chorus. It just creates that different kind of sound, and it's a very lo-fi kind of drum kit. So none of it sounds like polished. It sounds like they took the time to try and get a unique sound, and they definitely did that, especially with the guitar coming in right at the beginning. It's not a guitar tone that I would have stumbled upon and thought, oh, this is a great tone. It's very unique, it's very original, it's very new, and it's very raw. It feels very raw. It feels almost live, and so it's really cool. So moving on, harmonies and some of the mixed stuff that I've got here. I love, you know me, I love all the music side and all the harmonies, all the writing and all the mixing stuff. So one little cool thing that I noticed, I put headphones on, I listened to the song probably about 5 times in a row, and try not to get distracted by the different parts. I tell myself, just listen to the harmonies, and then in a few measures later, I'm thinking about the hats or the drums. But that's why we got to go over, and you got to listen to these songs over and over, so you can really kind of pick out the parts. And the cool thing is, this is kind of a side note, but this is a cool thing. If you do this as well, if you want to always be learning what's current, what's happening, and crafting your songs on what is current, then you've got to learn to be a good listener. You've got to learn to really be able to hear the different parts and kind of zone out and just listen to what they're doing. And of course, you're not going to copy anything, but you're going to get the idea. If the bass is going is really busy, then summarize it as that's a busy kind of part. So then when you do your song and you want it to sound similar to a pop song or a current song, then make it a little bit busier. That's just what you do, and you're not stealing, you're not copywriting, you're not no infringement there. You're just getting the idea of what they're doing and the vibe of it. So moving on, we've got the reverb. This is a really cool thing. I noticed a lot of the time in the song, there's like a reverb. It's kind of a slap back reverb. It's kind of a reverb that kind of, it slaps a wall and comes back, but it's very short, very kind of clear on. I should say, it's called a slapback reverb. So you can kind of play with your presets on your reverbs, but it's got that kind of feel, but it's very slight, and it's very natural kind of feeling. It sounds like it would have been recorded in a room like that, but I highly doubt it. It's just a really nice, the way that they've used that reverb is really nice. But then later on, especially in the bridge and in the chorus a little bit, but especially it's the second half of the second verse. After he's done a first chorus, he goes into that next verse. So it's the second half of that next verse that they introduce a new reverb, and they open it up a little bit more. And it's a nice, longer, bigger room, and that kind of leads more into the rest of the song, which is a really cool technique to use two different reverbs for your vocal track. And so that's something to try in your next mix, and it's a really cool thing. And I've talked about the pads, the harmonies. The last thing I'll talk about here is the harmonies. There's not that many harmonies on it. And to my ears, I listened to it a few times, and to my ears, it sounds like it's very kind of, they're not spread out harmonies. There may be more doubles of the lead in the chorus. So they might do a little bit more double. And the pre-chorus has second voices or more stacks of vocals going in that as well, and they're more kind of like maybe mono, or they're more, when I say mono, I mean more panned in the middle. They're not spread out far. It kind of, there's all these little subtle things that add to the vibe of the song, but they're not big and noticeable. And so I have a feeling that these not harmonies, but more like doubles of the melody, they're maybe just panned out a little bit. So they might be, I don't know, 5 to 8% each side. So it's just making that just a little bit bigger, so you can, and they're probably got some highs taken off them, so it's a little bit more. They're not as clear. They're a little bit more just strengthening the vocal. Like there's more vocals. It just feels like it's getting bigger. And they do that same in the chorus. And then, of course, as they go towards the end half of the song, the bridge and onwards, there's a lot more harmonies and a lot more ad-libs and a lot more runs and all that kind of, all the cool stuff that Justin can do. So, but yeah, so if you want to write a song similar to this and be inspired by this new sound or this song, then I highly suggest just grab one guitar, try and come up with a cool kind of riff, and then just a simple drum beat to kind of get going, and just really make it about the guitar and the drum groove and the melody and the lyrics. It's a really simple song, and but it's really done well, and it's the vibe is there, and you always got to make sure you've got the vibe going. So hopefully this helps. And if you're not sure much about me, or if you want to know more about me, head over to stevecollum.com, sign up to my email list, or like and subscribe as well, so that this video can go and more people can see it, and it can help more people. But make sure you follow me. I do lots of courses, I do lots of classes, and I do a lot of one-on-ones and collaborations, a lot of different stuff. So reach out to me in the comments, or reach out to me on my over at stevecollum.com. And and I hope hopefully you got a ton out of this video, and I'll see you in the next one.